sure that was recorded. It is. Okay. Since September, you've been introduced to design and research skills in creative media production. For the 2 research portfolios you have submitted, you have critically compared a range of research tools, methods and skills, and critically compared a range of primary and secondary research sources. Through the pre-production work you have completed, you've also applied your design and research tools, methods and skills to record and interpret information and develop ideas for a short horror film and music video. Through the production and post-production of these 2 products, you've also applied your understanding of a range of processes to support media activities, applied media processing skills safely, and appropriately and critically compared a range of communication methods used to convey meaning in creative media productions. Lastly, through your diary entries and evaluative writing throughout, you have evaluated the effectiveness of design and research tool methods and skills to develop ideas for creative media productions. So the work that you have submitted for short horror film and music video has now met all of the criteria for Unit 1 and 2, so really well done, okay?
That's good.
Really good. Now, we've already looked at your research portfolio, and the feedback is on your website here, okay? But just to revisit research, compared from short horror film to music video, your music video research was a lot more focused, okay? So you did have a clearer aim, and I think that you kind of were driving the direction of your research more than when you was within short horror film. Do you think that's...
Yeah, I do feel that.
Yeah, so I think that when we did short horror film, it was a bit like, I need to research, but I don't really know what I'm researching and why I'm doing it. Whereas when you did music video, there's more of a focus on, right, what do I need to find out to help me make my music video?
Yeah.
So the aim was clearer. I think the range of research that you did was good, but I agree with what you mentioned in your evaluation of your secondary research, that it was heavily focused on the artist and the music when there was broader things that you could have looked into. So, for example, when you mentioned here about how music has changed and image and that type of thing. Also, your idea for your music video was all about, obviously, drugs and how it influences young people and can turn into a downward spiral very quickly. And nowhere in your research portfolio is there any information about that topic.
Okay, yeah.
So that kind of suggests that you made the music video or scripted video on your own knowledge, which is fine. But of course, you want it to be as believable as possible.
Yeah.
So if there was research in your folder to support the findings that you then planned for, that would enhance your research portfolio.
Yeah,
Okay?
Yeah, I understand.
Also, what we need to do is that in your evaluations of your secondary research and indeed of your primary research, you still need to develop more on writing specifically about how the findings that you have achieved are going to help you make a music video or help you make a short horror film or whatever product it is.
Yeah.
So in your evaluation here, yes, you're telling me what findings you've drawn out, but you haven't really told me how that will help you make a music video for the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I'm more critical on things I didn't do, and that kind of like draws my focus away from then going and talking about how I could improve.
Yes, but not even necessarily in terms of how you can improve, because it's great talking about you as a researcher. That's a separate matter. What I'm talking about is when you are evaluating your research, specifically saying, because I found out this, I now need to do this, or this has changed my idea, or I hadn't realised that this was the outcome and now I need to include this in my product in a different way. So what you're showing me is that your research is more purposeful, because although I think that your research in music video had a clearer aim, so was more specific, there's still elements which make me think, well, is it purposeful? Has it actually helped you researching these music videos? Because in terms of your planning, I can't see how your research is informing your planning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? So we need to make sure that moving forward that your research portfolio exists to help you plan. It doesn't just exist because I'm telling you to research. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay. I was pleased to see this time that you did a balance between video entries and written entries for your evaluations. And in your overall evaluation, this was strong. So you was being very honest and open, which is the best way to be, because there's no point not being transparent, because if you're not honest with yourself about things that you did wrong and things that you need to do to improve, then you're never going to improve. And the thing that I picked up on most was when you spoke about the fact that your production skills you feel were completely limited or restricted in terms of creativity because as a group you decided not to go out and film extra scenes. Now I remember in short horror film we spoke about make sure that you've got a range of shots and a range of things to pick from. In music video, I think that had improved and that you wasn't just doing one take, you had lots of takes to choose from for each shot, but the issue still remained that in scripting, you're not making sure that your scripting meets the time. So when you did your music video script, I said to your group, are you sure this is going to be long enough for your music video? And you were going, yes, Natalie, it's going to be fine. Then when it come back to post-production, I think on day one, when we reviewed the footage, I said, you guys haven't got enough footage. You're going to end up with a music video which is highly repetitive. You were then absent on the next day, and the other people in your group decided not to refilm. And in all of your evaluations, you've all spoke about the fact that you, on reflection, you'd wish that you had gone out and refilmed because although your music videos are strong, there is a lot of repetition. So in the future, we need to make sure that in the planning, you're not rushing and that there is enough planning or enough scripting to meet the demands of the project.
Yeah. I could chalk up an explanation to the short script. When we planned it out initially, I think we did some mathematical calculations incorrectly.
Yep.
And no one really checked. So that's possibly what led to the short script.
What, in terms of the music video?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's clear because of each of you in post-production were becoming really, really sort of annoyed with yourselves with the fact that you knew that in terms of production values of filming, from short horror film to this, in particular in your case, it's night and day. You can really see a drastic improvement in your technical skills in terms of the filming. You're thinking about lighting, you're thinking about costume, you've thought about locations. And it was such a shame there wasn't just that, there was that glitch. So that's definitely an area that we need to improve on in terms of production. So at the moment, I think that research is still at a satisfactory standard because to be at a high standard, you need to show me how it's being used to inform, support and develop your ideas. And I think that in parts we have this. So in your focus group analysis, there is an emphasis on how that information is helping you as a group or helping you as an individual to create your idea. But we need to have it more, it needs to be more sustained and more substantial across all of your research. So in your next project, you need to make sure that it's clear in each part of your research how that's going to help you plan or how that's led you to your next piece of research. So then when I look at your planning, I can see, oh, he's made this decision in planning because of what he's found out in his research. Yeah? I think in terms of your practical skills, we are now at a high standard. Okay, your music video, which we're going to look at in a moment, shows consistent and appropriate process skills and knowledge applied to extend inquiry and develop creative solutions. Even though you were limited on footage, you have still created a music video of a high standard. Okay, so let's have a watch.
It loads.
What did you think about this project or this product?
Oh, the product in creating or after?
Either or, yeah.
Well, in creating the product, nearing the end, it became a bit stressful.
Okay.
Whilst like trying to piece together clips that would make sense to the narrative. But at the end of it, I was happy with it, but I wasn't satisfied.
Okay. So the not satisfied bit is because of?
It's just because of the lack of footage we had.
Okay, so we've already got two clear areas for improvement. One, the research portfolio, and make sure that there's emphasis on how your ideas are informing your planning, and in production, taking your time in planning so you know that what you've planned is feasible and it's going to work. Yeah? And then if you get to post-production, okay, you've presented a problem here, I haven't got enough footage. Not being, dare I say, lazy and going out and refilming and not being afraid to do that.
Yep.
Okay, I was really impressed with the studio shots. I think that although this was always planned to do the studio, I think some of it was a bit, when we got in there, yeah, this is going to look good, which sometimes off the cuff works well, and I think it was really creative. I think the way you've done the lighting is really nice, and I like the way that the camera pans around him, so it automatically I can see that he's isolated and that the focus is going to be on this individual. Some nice slow pans, obviously, of all the paraphernalia. And I think you as a group were very clever with the way that you suggested the theme of drugs without obviously using drugs. This is nice because you can see the flashing, and I like the way that you flash between these moments of drug taking to other parts of the narrative. I think that works really well, and the way that you've blurred certain things out. You've really thought about how it cut to the beat. I know you spent a great deal of time on this in this early stage getting it cut to the beat, but it's well worth that time and effort because those flashes are synced to the beat so well, and automatically, straight from the beginning, I know this guy's in trouble. Yeah, because you took me in that slow moment in the studio to now where we have all these flashes. Hopefully the next section's going to load. I think while we're waiting for it to load, it was nice that you guys as a group really thought about continuity. You also thought about your locations and you thought about your props, whereas in short horror film I felt everything was just a bit last minute. It was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it there. Whereas here I think you actually thought about why are we filming here, why are we using this, and there's a lot more effort into the whole production rather than just camera. And, yeah, so that was good. In this scene here, obviously we've got a nice point of view. So obviously we can see this downward spiral, and we can see that he's deteriorating, and you're allowing us to almost be in his shoes. I said to the other people in your group, this is a real strength of the music video here, because I feel, as it plays, that you are going through this moment in time with this individual. As he falls to the floor, I feel like I am now him, and I'm swaying across the room, and he falls as he falls to the floor in his downward spiral. I would love to have seen more point of view throughout the music video. You all edited this section very differently, and that was nice to see. So I like the way that you have done these flashbacks in the background to make it look like this is what he's seen in his head, or this is the reason as to why he's now on the floor, which is nice. Other members of the group made it look like there was something flowing through his body, but I think that that's a really nice creative edge that you put there. Then also we've got a bit of background story, and again this is filmed nicely. You're just filming enough. We didn't need to see, you know, the drugs coming out of the pocket and everything else. You're just filming enough, which is good. Just starting to think about what information the audience members need and what they don't need to see. So that was good. I like the face of black. I think that divides the narrative up and shows obviously like a period in time, that time's moving forward and he's still in this downward spiral, still taking drugs, but also disguising the fact that some of the shots are being repeated. So here again, yeah, this is a repeated shot, but you have tried to frame it differently to make it not like look like it is the same shot. So I think in post-production you've been clever. I think this overlay is fantastic, and the fact that it's consistent throughout the whole music video is really, really good. I think you've also thought about what goes best, so you've matched the visuals to the lyrics, which obviously are a huge convention in music, and I think you've really thought about that. This is fantastic. So as we're flashing between voices in his head to him looking in the mirror, I think you've been really, really creative in this section. And I think the fact that it's a repetitive shot works fantastically, because this is what's going on in his head, the same thoughts are going around in his head. So as an audience member, you've really got me engaged now, because I can see why he's going from this in his head to the mirror, in his head to the mirror, because that's how he's going to be feeling. And I almost get like a sense of panic, and I think that's because you've matched the beat to the guitar, and it works really, really well. And again then you've thought about pace and what shots match the pace better. This is good. You thought about obviously make sure that those shots cut to the beat well. I think you've shown just enough. Some of your shots showed like that hammer getting stuck, whereas you've really been clever with what clips you've used to make sure you've cut bits out and make it look unrealistic. And you've used just enough. We don't need to see him continually battering that table. You've cut between the shots, which works really well. I think overall you did a fantastic job with the final edit. And although you missed, obviously you wasn't here for the actual post-production week, you still came and showed professionalism by getting the edit done to the new deadline we set. And I think you didn't panic, like you knew that you needed to invest time, but you had to do a clever edit, let's put it that way, because obviously there wasn't enough footage, so you did have to be clever with the edit. I think you as a group worked fantastically, and it was nice to see you take on quite a managerial role, which was good to see. I like this because although it's repetitive, you are saying, he's asking himself a question as he's looking in the mirror, who are you? And I think that is a nice way to end the music video, because that kind of poses a question as to what he's really going to do next. So moving forward, your overall evaluation was your most detailed because you was thinking about examples, you was thinking about areas to improve and what you was going to do to actually improve that. I think that type of detail needs to be put into your
production
diary.
diaries. Yeah.
Yes. You tend to rush your production diaries, and what they turn into is more of a description of what's happened of the day rather than a reflection.
Yeah.
Okay? So when I'm asking for a reflection, I'm getting you to think about, yes, you've done this today. What went well? Why did it go well? What didn't go well? What do you need to do more up to tomorrow? So if I wasn't here for 6 weeks, I could look on your website. Your research informs your planning. Your planning is reflective in your diaries. Your diary entries are telling you what's gone well and analysing your performance. So I just think spending a bit more time in here and not rushing. I think when you do your video diaries, we get a lot more detail because you're not rushing.
No.
Yeah? So going forward, perhaps maybe the production diary entries do them more as the audio, and then at the end, the written evaluation seems to be working. All right? So I think at the moment, definitely research we're working at a satisfactory standard. I think practical skills we're working at the high standard, and the evaluation at the moment I'd have to put it at satisfactory standard, but there is elements of high standard, as I've read in the overall evaluation. We need to be given more dedication and time to these production and post-production diaries. All right?
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Good.
perfectly fine.